you know, there comes a time in every man's life where he has to decide what's best for him, what's best for his family, what's best for his pockets, and what's best for his future. That said, done a lot of soul searching. Took me about 3 weeks to do so. We have come to a decision here on the 16th installment of the Fourth Down Forum podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I will be taking my talents to none other than the Big Apple. Listen, they just, offered me a contract that I couldn't refuse, and, the rich history, one of my favorite all-time QBs, and Aaron Rodgers is out there. Oh, wait, something doesn't seem right. Y'all know damn well and good that it is the Baltimore Ravens until the day I die. That said, jokes aside, that was an Aaron Rodgers t-shirt. Huge fan of Aaron Rodgers. Got that for a Christmas gift. So if you see me rocking the Aaron Rodgers t-shirt, I'm a fan of the player. Besides the point, y'all, welcome back. It's been a minute since we've done an episode. This is your free agent frenzy, free agent files, whatever you want to call it. We were going to call this the free agent files, but I got a different name for this podcast now. Enough banter. Welcome to the 16th installment of the Fourth Down Forum podcast. We are going to be covering this year's NFL free agency, and boy, let me tell you, it has been a wild one. Peep the background. We got some new players. Odell in the back. We'll get to him in a minute. Just got in a Drew Bledsoe Funko Pop, so that's in the back too. Give me just a second, y'all. But yeah, let's start this thing. This thing started off with a bang, right? Didn't think anything crazy of it. DeAndre Swift, formerly of the Eagles, signed with the Bears. That kind of kick-started everything. I will be consulting my notes a lot, so if y'all see me look down, it's not because I don't know what I'm talking about. It's because there is a lot to cover, and my brain will be like, ooh, look, squirrel. Anywho, the Bears were not done there. They also signed Kevin Bynard. I might be butchering that name. He's a safety, so that's a good move. Then they went and traded with Ravens West, and y'all will know just by the guy who I'm about to name. They went and traded with Ravens West. Y'all will get why I'm saying that here in a minute. And picked up Keenan Allen for a 4th round pick, which phenomenal move, by the way. Then they traded a certain quarterback in Justin Fields to a AFC North division rival, and I'm saying it like that because I'll get into that when we cover the AFC North. When we cover that team, I'll say who he got traded to. Outside of that, that now means that Caleb Williams is going to be the number 1 overall pick. Like, that's common knowledge. We'll talk more about that on the draft episode of the podcast, which will be coming sometime next month. Do the annual Fourth Down Forum mock draft. Moving on from the Bears to the Packers. The Packers, my second team, by the way. Always Ravens first, though, over everything. Y'all know this. But the Packers, getting a little bold there. The Packers signed running back of the Raiders, Josh Jacobs. And I thought for a second, they were going to have this big 1-2 tandem. Y'all are going to see me consult the notes again. Excuse me. I'm just going to look and see because I do have notes on that. Yep, right there. In addition to picking up Josh Jacobs, right, I thought they were going to have a 1-2 dynamic duo, you know, with Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones. Not the case, and we'll get into that in a minute. They released Aaron Jones, and he went to play for a division rival in the division. So crazy to see that. The Packers, outside of that, the only other notable move, and I will say this for the record, y'all, I'm not going to sit here and go over every single free agent move that every single team made, because if we did, we'd be sitting here all night. The Packers also signed Xavier McKinney. I believe he was a safety, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I want to say he was a safety. The Minnesota Vikings. Consult the notes here. It's a lot of notes, y'all. A lot of pieces moving. The Vikings signed former Packers running back Aaron Jones. And I'm pretty sure we were saying Lions, but I pivoted. So, yeah, that happened. The Lions, they've made some moves. I wasn't really keeping track of them too much because, you know, they're already a roster that's built to contend. I know they extended their head coach. They did make some moves. Let me see if in here I wrote it down anywhere. It's interesting. But, hey, that's what happened in the NFC North. So let's pivot from the NFC North to the NFC East. Can we start with the Dallas Cowboys for a minute? I know, being in Texas, I'm going to have a lot of Cowboys fans. But what are y'all doing? Y'all signed one linebacker. Y'all don't have cap space, so I get that. I get y'all got players coming up that y'all are going to have to pay, but Jerry Jones went on record and said, we are going to be all in. Is there some blockbuster trade I don't know about that's brewing? You know, maybe a certain disgruntled star whose brother happens to play for him? I don't know. I'm just shooting here. Nah, it's crazy that he would go out, say that, and put that out there. And then, the funniest thing of them all, Skip Bayless went on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and was like, all in, comma, my ass. So, if he wouldn't have put that comma in there, that could have had a whole different meaning than what he meant for it to mean. But moving on from them to the Commanders, because I do have some notes on the Commanders here. The Commanders signed former Chargers running back Austin Eckler. I think that's going to be a great move with the other young running back they got out there. His name does elude my mind at the moment, so I know who I'm talking about. And as soon as I get done recording it, watch, I'll go on TikTok or something, and it'll be like, oh, that's his name. But they signed him. They also got Bobby Wagner, linebacker, formerly of the Seahawks. Dante Fowler of the Cowboys, which this free agency seems to have a theme, by the way. So, yeah, fun stuff all around, man. Fun stuff. Who else did they sign? They signed Tyler Biadasz. Might have been butchering that name. Let's talk about the Giants. The Giants, because I do have notes on them, they signed let's talk about the big one they did before we get into the signings, actually. They traded for Brian Burns of the Carolina Panthers. That is a great move. Shout out my friend Mal. She's a Giants fan. She covers them on the 13 Rings podcast. So check them out when you get a chance. But that is a great move. You mean to tell me you are going to have... Why is... Kayvon Thibodeau on one side, Brian Burns on the other side? Holy That is a quarterback's worst nightmare right there. Now, they did make some other moves as well. They signed running back Devin Singletary because they lost Saquon, and we'll be getting into that in a minute. They also signed Jermaine Illuminer. He's a lineman. They signed Jalen Hill. They traded for Drew Lock. That doesn't really move me. Biggest move that they made so far in free agency was getting Burns. Let's talk about the damn Eagles, man. So they start off with a bang, signing division rival, formerly of the New York Giants, running back Saquon Barkley. There is some conspiracies right there saying that they might have colluded and he might have signed or been talking to a representative of the Eagles early. I don't know. I'm not here to say. They also traded for former Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Kenny Pickett. You know, Kenny Pickett, what can I say? He did not really pan out in Pittsburgh, I mean. Sorry. Let's keep our journalism professional here. He didn't really pan out. The Eagles needed a backup quarterback. Give me just a second. And they also signed linebacker Devin White. So those were their two main things they were trying to do. Good on them. We've already covered the NFC East. We haven't covered the West. We covered the North. So let's cover the West, starting off with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Man, Tampa. Not much to say on their end, except they got down to business and re-signed some of their own. They signed wide receiver Mike Evans, which sucks on my end as a Ravens fan, because in my Delulu mind, I was like, ooh, Mike Evans on the Ravens. Probably wouldn't have happened given the cap space that we have or had going into it. But exciting to imagine. Anyways, he signed a 2-year contract extension with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And in turn, quarterback Baker Mayfield signed a 3-year deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know, as much flack as I like to give Baker Mayfield, I do like the guy as a player. It's exciting to see him get a fresh opportunity, you know, going forward, you know, with the Buccaneers. He had that last year, obviously. I hope he can continue on that after being with the Panthers and the Rams last year. So the Saints, I believe the Saints released Michael Thomas. I have a strange feeling. This is where y'all going to be like, yo, D, what you cooking? I don't know, man, but I have this strange sense, given who we had to let go of, that my squad's going to end up signing Michael Thomas. You know, it'll be exciting to see. And forgive me if my, thoughts and stuff seem scattered. I am recording this at, 1 in the morning. Just because, you know, had to get it out there. Haven't posted anything in a minute, so. But yeah, back to the grind. The Saints released Michael Thomas. They extended the Honey Badger, I believe. Let me consult the notes. The Rams. Holy schmoly, to use PG language. Biggest offseason news for the Rams is Rams legend Aaron Donald retired after 10 seasons. Kind of blindsided a lot of people. He was still, I feel, he still had some gas left in the tank. We could say he was in his prime. He still had more to prove. But man, 10 years, which also the other player played 10 years, made all 10 Pro Bowls, All Pros, whatever you want to call it, Barry Sanders. And backtracking on that just a minute, because if we're going to do one retirement, we need to do them all right now. And the other ones are a team I already covered. Eagles legend Jason Kelce, of the New Heights podcast, retired after, I want to say, 12, 13 years in the league. So, hell of a career, Jason Kelce. Love to see it. Still follow your work on the New Heights podcast that you do with your brother Travis. Enjoy retirement, man. As well as Fletcher Cox, he retired as well. So, those memes are gone, man. Those memes are gone. Crazy to see. But, yeah. The Rams. In my notes, it just says signed porn star Jimmy G. And y'all know why I say that. But man. So we got the Saints, the Bucks, the Panthers. I think I know off the top of my head that they traded for Deontay Jackson for somebody from the Steelers, and yeah. So they got that wide receiver now. They traded Burns to the Giants. We covered that already. Yeah, that was my only note I had for the Panthers. But, crazy to see. And I think the other one in that division would be the Falcons. The big move they made is they signed former Minnesota Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins. Put that man's agent in the Hall of Fame. This man, at the age of 35, coming freshly off a torn ACL, and listen, I'll put this out there right now. I don't wish injury upon anybody. I hate to see it happen. But you're giving a man at the age of 35 a 4-year, $100 million, $90 million, I believe, guaranteed. I don't have all the details on that deal. When just last offseason, you could have had Lamar Jackson. Thank the Lord y'all don't, because we here at the us Ravens fans will be stressing and be depressing, but yeah, what the hell, man? It's crazy to see. So yeah, we covered 3 divisions in that. Which one am I missing? North, South, East, West. Did we cover them all? Huh. Saints, Bucks, Panthers, Falcons, Giants, Cowboys, Eagles, Commanders. No, we didn't. We didn't cover the West. So, and if this is a lengthy podcast, I do apologize. Like I said, there's a lot to cover here. So, in the NFC West, the Arizona Cardinals. What the hell y'all doing over there, man? Like, y'all released... Oh, yeah. If you consult my notes, do apologize about the sloppy handwriting. It says Cardinals, not shite. Which they haven't been. The Seahawks is the other team we need to cover there. Give me just a second. Oh, yeah. The Niners signed Gross Motos. And I seen a rumor on social media earlier that said they might be in talks for Zach Wilson. So, be interesting to see. But, hey, if y'all ain't really doing much in free agency, I know they made some moves. I'm just talking ish. The Seahawks, you know, I could consult the laptop. I could consult something else. I know they made some moves. I know they cut Jamal Adams. I almost said Jamal Lewis because I am excited about a certain running back that signed with a certain team, and we're going to get into that. We are going to get into that. But, yeah. I'm going to let my boy who's a Seahawks fan that I work with, I'm going to let him cover the moves in the comments down below so you can catch up with that. And I do apologize for not having more notes on what moves they have been making. But he's on top of that like white on rice, so we're going to have that like that. But switching gears from the NFC to the AFC, who y'all want to start with? Y'all want to start? Who do we want to start with? I want to start with the AFC West. So, speaking of the AFC West, we got the Ravens West, aka the Los Angeles Chargers. And, you know, I'm going to have some friends because I'm in a group chat type thing. I'm not going to get into too much detail on social media, but a lot of my friends in that group are Chargers fans, and they better be watching this podcast because I'm about to compliment y'all. The reason I call them the Ravens West, though, they have former Ravens running back Gus Edwards. He signed with them. They have former Ravens OC Greg Roman. They have former Ravens Director of Player Personnel, Joe Horwitz. It's either Horwitz or Hortiz. Might have butchered the name. He is now their general manager. You cannot sit here, look me in my eye, and tell me that's not the damn Ravens West. Because it is. And also, if you want to go even further back, y'all had Jacoby Jones at one point in time. And I think that was right after we released him. So, y'all are the Ravens West. Get used to it. But they have made some moves. They signed Puna Ford as well. Oh, another thing. Former Ravens tight end. Panthers and Bengals tight end. Hayden Hurst. He signed with the Chargers. He played for the Ravens. Ravens West. Let me talk to you. They signed Puna Ford. They signed tight end Will Dissel. So, we got them, right? The Chiefs, Kansas City, defending Super Bowl champions, as much as I don't want to say that because, man, that hurts. We were so close, man. We were so close. It is what it is. We move. They went and signed a former Ravens player as well in speedy wide receiver Marquise Hollywood Brown. Now, as an unbiased sports fan, I am a big fan of this move. I think Mahomes is getting an upgrade at receiver. Remember my homegirl Mel that I shouted out earlier? Yeah, it's definitely an upgrade over Kadarius Toney. Some people will get why that's funny. Kadarius Toney dropped, man, he had more drops than, I don't know. I don't have a reference for that. Thought I did. Sorry about that, y'all. But man, definitely an upgrade at wide receiver. They also signed tight end Irv Smith Jr. You know that roster's not done being built yet, so plenty to do, plenty to see. We also now get into the Raiders, who are bringing Minshew Mania to them, as well as Christian Wilkins. Let's talk about the Denver Broncos. Let Russ cook. No, they did not. They released him, and they took a big cap hit to do so. And where he ended up, you might ask? Well, we'll be getting into that shortly. But the Broncos Signed Malcolm Roach and Brandon Jones. Those are my notes I have for that squad. So we'll go from the AFC West to the AFC East. My notes on the AFC East, who are we going to start with? We're going to start with the Bills. They signed former Steelers quarterback Mitch Trubisky, which I feel like he was with them before, but I could be wrong there. Maybe I am wrong. They also extended Deion Dawkins, and the big one, they signed former Commanders wide receiver Curtis Samuel to a 3-year, $30 million deal. So I'll be interested to see how that plays out. So we go from the Bills to the Dolphins. Oh, damn, I got a lot of notes for the Dolphins. They signed Jordan Brooks, Jordan Poyer, amongst other players. So maybe not that many notes. Like I said, do apologize if this is going to be a little condensed. It's going to be longer than my normal, 20, 30-minute podcast that I do because it's a special. Special podcasts go longer, You all know the drill when it was under the old we're the fourth down form now, under the old what a play format. So we covered the Bills, we covered the Dolphins. We got to cover the Jets and why is the other one escaping my mind right now? Bills, Dolphins, Jets. Give me a second, y'all. Time out. Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Patriots. Why did that escape my mind? Crazy. So we'll cover the Jets next since I brought them up first. They, like I said, I know what I'm talking about. Just got a lot of notes. It's 3 pages here. Ooh, here's what they did. They signed John Simpson, lineman. They traded the former Ravens lineman, actually. I was like, why does that name sound familiar? They signed quarterback Tyrod Taylor, another former Raven. I love Tyrod Taylor, man. Just a quick little side note. I hate how his career has panned out. Besides his stint with the Bills because he was balling for them, but then Josh Allen took over that team. The damn Chargers punctured the man's lung. He never got a fair shot there. Yeah, it is what it is. They also traded for right tackle Morgan Moses, who used to play for them, came to the Ravens. And the thing I like about what the Jets are doing is, obviously you saw me rocking the Aaron Rodgers t-shirt earlier. Aaron Rodgers got injured 4 plays into the game, his first game as a Jet last season. Hate to see it, tragic incident. But, man, they are beefing up that O-line, and that is excited to see. Breece Hall, love Breece Hall, by the way. He single-handedly won me one of my fantasy leagues. Well, not single-handed, but he was a main reason I won one of my fantasy leagues last year. And the Patriots, what have they done? They traded away Mac and Cheese Jones. They signed Jacoby Brissett. And from the looks of my notes, they signed running back Antonio Gibson. So, and it's crazy to think where they traded Mac Jones to, but we'll get into that. So we move from the West, the East. We now move into the South, because I'm going to save the North for last, because I got a lot I want to say about the AFC North. Best division in football, in my opinion. Argue with a wall. The Colts signed comeback player of the year from last year, quarterback Joe Flacco. And the interesting thing about that, right, I was talking to one of my friends on over text the other day, and I was like, you know what's crazy? Joe Flacco has now played for every team that has something to do in the NFL with the city of Baltimore. Because he played for the Ravens. He got drafted by the Ravens, Baltimore Ravens. He played for the Cleveland Browns, who were moved from Cleveland to Baltimore originally. And he played for the Indianapolis Colts, which if you look on that picture right there, the hand-painted one with the 2 tickets in it, half of that is the Ravens, half of that is the Colts. That was a dope find. Surprised I found that in Texas, of all places. Besides the point, what I'm saying is they used to be the Baltimore Colts. So you learn something new. We don't know how Anthony Richardson's going to be healed from his injury. And just a little side note, can we please not have as many injuries as we did last year in the NFL? I want to see top of the line, healthy competition, best of the best. Give me just a second. Ooh. Yeah, the Falcons made more moves than Kirko. Looking at this, but so did the Eagles. I didn't cover everything. Like I said, didn't have time to. So the Colts, give me a second. They extended Jonathan Taylor. That's a good move for them. And it looks like right here I said they signed a linebacker, but I didn't put the name, so that's on me. The Texans. Let's talk about the Texans. I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to put out a, prediction division, who's going to win which division, the yada, 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 closer to when the season rolls around or when the season starts. That said, the Houston Texans, this is going to be my take, one of my hot takes right now. The Houston Texans have the AFC South locked down, barring injuries or anything drastic like that, for the next 3 to 5 years. This team saw how far they made it with a rookie CJ Stroud and a rookie Will Anderson, and was like, we need to go further, as you should, by the way. So what do? They go out and they trade for Bengals running back Joe Mixon, who was originally going to get released, but then the Texans were like, nah, slide him our way. They also signed the name eludes me right now. I apologize for that. But they signed a defensive player. He's going to he's a defensive end or he's a linebacker. And he's really damn good. It was Danielle Hunter. Danielle Hunter signed with the Texans. Formerly of the Vikings, I believe. Might have had a team before that. Like I said, it's a lot to cover. So we covered that team with the Jaguars. The Jaguars moves that were made. Yo. Listen, the Jaguars, they got Mac Jones. They got some other players too. They got Arik Armstead from the 49ers. I remember that off the top of my head. So the Mac Jones move doesn't really move me. Give me a second, y'all. I'm going to grab a drink of my drink. But yeah, the other move definitely moves me. Arik Armstead, he is a monster among men, to say the least. And then we wrap things on the AFC South with the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans, what did they do? Well, they lost a certain king, gained a Tony Pollard, and they got a Calvin Ridley, which Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins on the same damn team. I'm going to tell you right now, your running back situation's a downgrade compared to who you have. I don't care. I don't care if you disagree with me. My opinion. Y'all have yours. Whew. Woo, woo, woo. Just crazy to see, man. And now, let's get into it. Let's talk about it. The best division in the NFL, in my opinion. The Baltimore... Nope. See, I was about to just say the Baltimore Ravens. The AFC North. The Ravens lost a queen, but gained a king. That will make sense to y'all in a second. And it's probably going to play into this episode's title too. Probably going to title it something like, "The Queen is Dead, Long Live the King." NFL free agency or some shit like that. The Bengals, man. What is up with the Bengals? Y'all had to go and sign Geno Stone from us. Right? That's the only note I have for y'all, is that y'all signed Geno Stone. I'm pretty sure y'all made some other moves, but like that one just has me like, damn. Like, I knew he wasn't going to stay with us. I knew that Marcus Williams and Kyle Hamilton are starting safeties. That's common knowledge at this point. Backtracking to another move the Jags made, because it just hit me. They signed kick returner, punt returner, Devin Duvernay. Sucks, because he was one of my favorite players when he played for the Ravens. Just because his name was cool as hell. Like, I'm a big fan of alliteration, if y'all couldn't tell. So, Devin Duvernay. Double D. Anyways, back to what we were talking about. The Bengals did that. And then the Browns, man. The Browns. The latest move the Browns made, because this just happened today. They signed Pro Bowl quarterback, formerly of the Baltimore Ravens, Tyler Snoop Huntley. I figured he wasn't going to be back because we traded for Malik Cunningham last year, or we signed him something with the Patriots last season. So I feel like Malik Cunningham's going to be our backup, if not the other quarterback who we re-signed, which I'll get into a bit later. Then they signed linebacker Devin Bush. They signed Nyheim Hines, which that makes sense if you think about what happened last season with the Nick Chubb's ACL, his injury. So he's going to be rehabbing that. But the big move that the Browns made in free agency is they traded the Broncos for wide receiver Jerry Jeudy. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, that's not a good move, because this team now has, you think about it, I'm not saying who that quarterback is. I don't like that man. Don't care. You got Nick Chubb. You have Amari Cooper. You have Jerry Jeudy. You know how hard that's going to be for quarterbacks to defend? Then we get into the Steelers, man. And the Steelers have been active this free agency. Starting with the first move they made, or the first big move they made, they signed Russell Wilson to a 1-year deal. Russell Wilson is the presumed starter, or so we thought. But then they went and traded for another quarterback from Chicago named Justin Fields. All jokes aside, Russell Wilson was informed by Coach Tomlin that he is the starter. So we'll see how that plays out. It could be he plays, doesn't play well, Fields gets put in. It could be Russell Wilson's going to be there for a year and he's the bridge quarterback, and then Fields is going to take his spot. And, you know, there's potential there. I'm not going to sit there and say there's not. Now, the move that hurt me the most with the Steelers, right? Patrick Queen, who I hold near and dear to my heart because I am an LSU fan. I have that man's Ravens jersey in my closet. This man signed a 3-year deal with the Steelers. I'm not mad that it happened. I was just caught off guard because of how intense that rivalry is. But Patrick Queen is embracing the villain role. We'll see how that plays out. I think that's going to be a big part of what reignites the hard-hitting, you know, Ravens, Steelers, blue-collar rivalry. What other moves? Is there anything I'm missing on the Steelers front? They traded Kenny Pickett. Yeah, so there's probably some other moves they made too, but, you know, I am now currently at 41 minutes, so I would like to keep this under an hour. But if it goes to an hour, it goes to an hour. Sometimes I ramble, y'all. It is what it is. The Baltimore Ravens. We lost some guys I previously mentioned. We released Odell Beckham. That one hurt me. In a perfect world, he'd be back on the team. We re-signed Nelson Aguilar. The big move we did, though, is obviously us signing quarterback Josh Johnson. You know, he makes or breaks the team, obviously. No. I'm joking. We re-signed Brent Urban, which I do like. That's very vital. The biggest move, I would say, we have made in free agency so far was shortly after franchise tagging Justin Madubuike. We gave him a 4-year, $90-something million deal. We extended Michael Pierce earlier in the season so he could finish out a Raven. What I like about that is you're keeping that big, beefy defensive front intact. We need that. We like that. We also re-signed linebacker Malik Harrison. Low risk, low reward. We re-signed Darius Washington, which I like. He's probably going to get some time at cornerback. I think he was already getting time at cornerback. The biggest move the Ravens have made in free agency, outside of Madubuike, we signed former Titans running back Dereck Henry to a 2-year, I believe, $16 to $18 million deal. Where the Ravens failed in the AFC conference game, they did not run the damn football when they should have ran the damn football. And I, for one, am pissed about that. It still sucks talking about. However, with Dereck Henry, you think a big back mother effer like that is going to sit there and be like, nah, coach, I don't want the ball. He's going to be like, give me the damn ball. I'm going to Debo these hoes. We're also getting Keaton Mitchell back, which I'm excited about. That's going to be an exciting 1-2 punch. Lamar and Dereck Henry, King Henry. Think of the RPOs on that, man. It's going to be crazy to see. I am excited. Eric DeCosta is not done building this roster. There may be more moves. There's definitely more moves coming because DeCosta builds this roster like 3-4 weeks into the season. It's interchanging, intertwining. We'll be excited to see what happens. This has been your 2024 free agency podcast episode, special, whatever you want to call it. Things to look forward to on the channel coming up. I will be doing an episode when the NFL does for a mock draft. I will be doing an episode on the NFL schedule and the games I'm looking forward to. Which games are exciting. Opening day for baseball. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. And within the next week or two, I want to put out an episode for WWE WrestleMania because that's something I look forward to every year. And I am, at this point, y'all should know, I am a huge wrestling nerd. But thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Love the support. Gonna try to be more active and whatnot. Stay tuned, stay blessed. Love y'all.